dramatic. I don't want to see someone who has an opinion on it, like different than this should not happen. You know, I don't want to have any other, like point of view on it. But
may I interrupt? I would like you to start again with the question, with the topic, because we have the slight issue of sound.
Okay.
So probably our audience didn't hear us well, so.
Okay.
So to catch up with us again.
So we do just rewind and go back to the drop of today's topic, which is the second sad anniversary of the attack in Hanau, and
the attack in Hanau.
Yeah, it was a Czech murderer.
Yeah.
Attack.
It's just you miss a little bit the a. You say tag. You say tag instead of attack.
Attack. Yeah. So and yeah, social media was full with it, and we didn't talk about that issue here. So not even when we were not live. So I was wondering, and this is why I wanted to drop that topic. So and I also remember how many of our team members reacted 2 years ago, and that it was a very and up to now, of course, it's a serious issue. So this is why I thought, okay, maybe in today's live stream we should discuss about this. Also this whole, because also the new Kultusministerin from the new government, she said, for example, that this memory culture and the diversity also of memory culture is part of her, or is like one of the main topics in her work. So yeah, that's the topic. And maybe Anas or Zero or both also want to come and sit with us. Not you have to go here because Rama is now sitting here with me.
Zero first, maybe I will join later.
Hi. Zero! I missed you.
I miss you too.
Did you have a nice weekend?
Yes, yeah, it was bit adventure because of all the storm.
Yeah.
But it was nice, yeah.
But weird enough, you looked a little bit tanned, even though there was a storm. I don't know why.
Maybe it's the dirt on my skin. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you already heard Nadine
Yes,
and the topic that she just dropped, and I don't know where to start with it, to be honest, because the questions of it, or I think the range of the amount of شنو بالعربي يعني ارتدادات السيئة يعني the bad reflections or the bad things that came out of this situation are endless. You know, first thing I think about when this topic comes out, not my position, not my opinion, not my political stand, the first thing I think about is the kids of these people, the parents of these people, the families who most of the time, I think we all relate in a way or another. We run away from one place to the other to find a safer space, to find a better life, to find a better start or a new start and a new chance in this life to live again. Because most of the families who immigrate, they're looking for dignity before anything else. Because you don't leave your country and your people and everyone if you didn't really need it, if you didn't really could not go on with your life in the same place, and that's why you had to go on and stuff. So first of all, I would just like to send all my condolences or my heart from within my heart to energy-wise. I'm not saying this talk will arrive to anyone, and hopefully to one of the kids or the family, but I only think about the family and the kids or the parents first of all. It's a very it's very hard to lose someone in such a tragedy, I think.
Yeah. It is hard thing, and yeah, I cannot add anything to the thing you said. also my condolences to the families. And for me, it's, I don't know if we can discuss. So what are the reasons such a thing could happen, and this happening like again and again and again, um, and I read something about the person who did it, who was actually had a weapon certificate, so he could like have it, and he was like allowed to have this certificate, but he had also this, and it was known to the government or to the organizations in the government, different things, that he had believes in conspiracy theories, and he had on his own website where he posted national, like Nazi texts and about his idea. Yeah, and but still he was able to have a weapon, and yeah.
But there were many other facts also that next to the guy who did the shooting, that the emergency doors were locked, to avoid that criminals can leave this place. That was the reason why they were locked. And also that the police was not available when the first calls got in. So next to many other stuff, so this is also like kind of repetitive when it comes to that kind of racist hate crimes in Germany, that it also there's a lot of ignorance within the different state organs when it comes to right-wing or racist violence, and like a structural ignorance which is deadly very often. So I think this is why this so-called memory culture is such an important thing, to not only memorize, of course, the victims of what happened, but also to memorize the mistakes and what happened or how this could happen, because to avoid maybe further victims, right? So, but how do you think about this? Is this?
I think we are in a continuous thought, like one big thought that we are three of us sharing. I want to continue what you said as well, like about it's almost the same pattern all the time, because unfortunately, while you're talking about this story, all what I can remember is the mass killing that happened in, I don't remember in which state in America, when this guy went and he killed all the Asian women. This happened this year or 1.5 years ago, not so long ago. And it was exactly the same scenario. This guy had conspiracy theory beliefs. He had a website where he also as well published a part of his ideas against Asians and how they are, like how they should be, like, you know, like all this kind of. However, all his threats were not taken serious, or were not supposed to be serious, because of what you mentioned, how the right wing is kind of like really forgiven in a way, or we close the eyes on this, we don't see this until the problem happens, and then suddenly all the politicians and everyone suddenly come out and have an opinion on it. And but throughout the whole year, all the capacity to look and find is focused on finding someone who's selling some weed who is a black skin, attacking this person, finding a guy who looks a little bit Arab or Turkish or Kurdish, and make sure he's not having a ticket on the bus or something. You know, like the focus of who is the danger in the society and who is the person who should be we should fear is pictured in one way.
Yeah.
And we completely lose that. No, like most of the time, the people who are really hurting, they look different. They don't look like what we learned to see. These are the dangerous ones in society.
Yeah, this stereotyping, of course. Yeah.
Which is it's very sad. Even Rama believes so, I think.
I mean, what I also remember and what I have to put the word in. Right. For example, I remember one of our team members on the day of the attack suggested to take down, at that time we had big letters, wooden letters on the top with the name of the place, Migrantpolitan. And one team member was really scared and said, well, maybe now we also become a target. When this place here is so named, also so visually easy to see, we might get we might become a target too. So like a very deep fear that immediately came up, and I tried to calm him down and say, hey, don't worry, here you will not be attacked, and other people who have not been here so frequently at that time, for example, they showed up because they said, oh, we are so deeply shocked, especially in these days, we need that kind of space to gather and to not be alone in that situation. And so it was like really shaking many people, and now it's 2 years later, and I also had to think of I don't know, maybe this happened 4 years ago, or Anas, you have to help me out, when there was this spraying.
It was 2018.
Yeah, in 2018, suddenly at the front door, at the entrance door of Migrantpolitan, there was a graffiti in Arab, and I can't read or speak Arab, so I didn't know what it is. And first I thought, oh, maybe it's a graffiti artist who wants to be recognized, but it was like a weird position, like in the middle of the door, in the middle. It's like a little bit weird. So then I left, and then Anas came here and took a picture and said, well, this means go back home. And so it was not an unknown graffiti artist who wanted to make a little bit of like, hey, and then I thought, what kind of Nazi people are able to spray Arabic patterns? And then we researched like for 1 minute, and then we found that on right-wing internet sites and Facebook pages and blah blah blah, the usual stuff, you can easily download these like stencils and can easily create it. So then we also found out that in some of the German sub-states, this is considered as Volksverhetzung. This is
attack or
little bit like an attack on the constitution, like an attack on the people, because it's it's a racist thing, and it's against a group of people.
Yeah.
So then it's not individual, it's against a group. Then. So, so we called police and wanted to make a report, because also we wanted it that it goes as a, that it's like named and
Registered.
And they said, it's a graffiti. So you complain about vandalism. And we were like, no, we don't talk about vandalism. We call here from Kampnagel. We have lots of graffitis. We have no problem with graffitis, but this is not a graffiti.
This is a message.
Yeah.
On the door.
And this is a crime, because this is Volksverhetzung. And we don't complain about a graffiti. The thing is not a graffiti. And they kept on saying, yeah, graffiti, it's a graffiti, yeah, make an online report, blah, 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 blah. They didn't take it serious. They came here next day, had one look, and I think 3 days later we got a letter that the Anzeige gegen Unbekannt gets like not blah, blah, blah. And still they called it graffiti. Even though in this, also what we wrote, we made, and we explained and everything. And also today the Praktikant also told me about racial harassment on the bus, so in public transport. Then I also had to think of this video that was just published by a Berlin woman. And it also was about a racist attack on public transport. So it makes me sad and angry that things are like that.
Yeah.
It is very sad and very angry. You know, I didn't tell anyone in my friends before that when I was already coming to Kampnagel, like, which is not so long ago, we're talking about some months ago, I was on a bus in Berlin. I had my ticket with me. However, I was on the phone when I got in, and in Berlin you have to stamp your ticket when you walk inside, even in the bus. I don't know what happened on the phone. I was talking and stuff. I did not stamp my ticket. This was one station after my stop. Not like I haven't been for ages, and of course there's cameras in the bus, everything is there. I go inside the bus. To make it short, the person, unfortunately, I had a woman, or a person, it's not about the gender, like it's like a person, but it happened that, who was suddenly telling me, if you don't like it here, go back home. And that's the person who checks the tickets. Because when she came inside, I said, oh, I forgot to do my ticket. I wanted to put my ticket. She said, no. And she made the bus stop. She made a whole fuss on the thing. Everything stopped. Of course, the bus driver has to stop when they tell him, stop right now. And she said, call the police and stuff. And I was like, oh my God, like, I don't want to have all this drama. Take the 60 euros and let me go. So I paid the 60 euros.
I wouldn't pay it. Sorry.
I paid the 60 euros. And I said, I don't want any of all this trouble, let me go. I was going to my doctor anyway. And then I say, but this is my stop. I want to go out here. Please come out with me and give me my... And she starts to say no. And I say, but this is by law. You have to get, when you find me, you have to get out here. It all resulted in the end that I got even I paid the 60 euros. I was called faggot.
Wow.
I was called... go back to your country. I have it on a video with me. I sent it to the police. I gave it to the police in the end. I had to.
I just wanted to ask if you did.
I had to in the end. But no, in the end, it was by chance because I came out and all this thing was the fuzz. And then the police came. To make the story short, still in the street, even though I paid the 60 euros, even though I was the one who was being like called faggot, and being harassed and being told, go back to your country, and I have this on a video with me, the general mood, everything seemed like I am the aggressor. Like I am the person who is the problem. To the moment when the police car arrived first, the first thing they came out, even though my t-shirt, because the guys tried to hit me and my t-shirt was broken, the first thing the police they put a handcuff on my hands.
On you?
And this was, I'm 38 years old, this was the first time in my whole life I have a handcuff. It's not like, but and I was standing there, I was telling him, you got it all wrong. And when they saw the reality, when they saw that I have the thing with me and stuff, this is when they made me do two cases against her. This story is, of course, because at this moment I was lucky enough, I had 60 euros to pay on the bus. If I didn't have the 60 euros to pay them before the police arrived, I would have been the criminal. No one would have believed and done all this. The only thing that saved me in that moment is this. And then we go back to the idea of like how we are programmed to see who is the criminal and who's not the criminal. I myself, I have a down, it's called inferior moment, and we have to, the same way like there's racism, there's inferiority. When I have an idea that the white person is not gonna lie to me. I have the idea that the white person will not kill me. I have the idea that the white person will not steal my money. I have the idea that the white person will not sell me weed. I have the idea that the white person will not shoot me in the gun. Because we got trained by all these powers to say this is the shape, or this is the how a civilized person is, and this is the uncivilized is. And that's what really have to work on so much in society to change a little bit the power dynamic. So,
I'm sorry that you had to live that moment.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
At the moment, I cannot do the shifting between the cameras.
I can try.
No, I have to shift it from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to add at some point, like, from my personal experience, what happened in Hanau, it's just, it's very sad, very emotional for most of us as migrants. Because at some point it's feeling of being unsafe in country to pretend that here is safe, first of all. Second, as you both mentioned, or also Nadine, that here it's oh man, like they criminalize people who are not criminal at some point, and their focus is only targeting these people. But in the same time, also in news, you always hear that they arrested this person because he's extremist Islamic blah blah blah. But in the same time, you don't hear at all that they arrested this person because he's right-wing extremist or he had these thoughts. Even like in security centers where they control or overview everything at some point, they always have this kind of hotkeys to track conversation or whatever, targeting extremist Islamic. They don't have this tool to target extremist right wings, you know, which is like, but it's the same, equal. Like these people are really threat to everybody at the end. So yeah, it's really unfortunate that also the legal and community reaction which happened here in Germany and in Europe in general about the whole situation. It's like, it's a bit weird how the reaction, because we always have to fight for our rights, and we have to fight for our loss. When we had this horrible attack, we had to go in street and to say like, we need to stop this.
And so
there is no initiative from the society like, hold on, we are living all together in the same society, so we have to be beside each other. No, we had to, like, not me, but the people, we are share the same mentality, same background. We had to go in street to say like, what happened isn't right. We need to stop it. And like Hanau is just, let's say, one of the recent incident happened in Europe, but before that it was also, there is so many attacks based on racist background that the attackers is attacking migrants and only migrants, which is really stupid at some point. And also back to the attack that, if I called it even attack comparing to Hanau, what happened on the door of Migrantpolitan. At some point, like this well-known attack graffiti in Eastern Europe, Eastern Germany as well, but in Western side it's like very rare. Even as I remember in that time, it was the very first report we did about this exact graffiti. The policemen were like surprised in a way that it's very first time they received this kind of report against this specific graffiti. And I remember also like first time when
In Hamburg.
yeah, when we saw it the first time, we were talking about it, and then I mentioned to our group, Nadine was there, and also Alina, Mo, and I don't remember who else was there. I told them like, they even write it wrong. They missed the dot underneath one of the letters. Guess what? Next day they came and fixed it.
Corrected it.
Yes.
Wow.
Which was for me the most epic moment I could ever have. And I remember that it was during the production of Hello Deutschland.
Yeah.
And it's in the soap
It's
opera
in the
documentary.
final, final
And I
episode.
remember also in that particular day, while we were doing the report, you and Alina, we also prepared very short video to spread the word that like if you have this kind of situation, you should act. You shouldn't like, okay, we painted and done. No, we should act. We should stand for our rights. So we did this very short video. As I remember, it was like less than 5 minutes, and it at some point on Facebook it went really crazy. Like I'm not sure, but we had lots of viewers.
More than 5,000
Yeah,
people
like
watched.
yeah, it was really crazy because this like Hanau attack and all smaller attack happening in Germany, if we don't do anything against it, it will keep going. Like racist control or racist kind of like this situation also you mentioned right now in past or all in all aspect of life. Like none of us, I believe, none of the migrants has no experience of being racist here. So if we don't talk about it, it will keep going. It will keep happening. So we need to stand up and fight, not fight in terms of fight, but like to raise our voice that what's happening is wrong.
Can I ask you a question? Because this is like a very, please, I would like a very short answer as well, not like.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to the topic because I joined later.
No, I like it because I like how you're thinking about it. Don't you think after now how many years you are in Germany? 6 years?
7.
What? Let's something like around 7 years. Aren't you tired after 7 years of still feeling that you have to educate? Unfortunately, I'm really sorry to say it, but white folks.
Me personally?
Yes.
No. Why?
Wow.
No, I'll tell you why. As short as possible. Because as in whole Europe, there is this existence of white man culture. That always the white dude, they are the privileged, they have the power, and they give us out of pity feeling, give us space or give us money or give us whatever. For me, as an encounter for this attitude, our duty is to stand and to re-educate the society that among of us there is bad, there is good, as exactly in any normal society.
True.
There is the extremists, there is the open-minded, there is in between. Like we are equal in everything. The only difference we have between us and them, if I call them, is the skin color and where we have been born. This is the only difference. Like I have been born in Damascus, so I'm proud to be born in Damascus, but I have no problem to be living here with people who have been born in, like, let's say London or Hamburg, Berlin, whatever. I have no problem. I'm very open-minded with anything, you know. So it's really our duty, because if we decide, okay, I get tired to fight for this, then this is the moment that what should I do then?
Focus on your life. Focus on other things that you really want to focus on.
But still, this kind of situation, this racist situation, will keep showing.
Exactly. I agree.
So if we don't fight it, it will not end.
Yeah, there are people who can who has this duty, and there are people that they
don't
concentrate on something different. But I want also to add that there are also many discriminations wise situation that is happening in the background. So we have the racial profiling of this algorithm in the digital world, and we last year or 2 years ago,
this level.
2 years ago, this person from Google, she was fired because she talked about this racial profiling that are used in the AI, the artificial intelligence, and she wrote about it, and she was working in the ethical group of Google, and she got fired just because she was talking about it. And there is a lot of these cameras overall. It's this data used by big data company to racial profile people, and so you got maybe also more controlled, but not controlled, more what they say, beobachtet, observed. So they targeting people who are
based on hot words, hot keys, or hot situations.
This is, and the institutional discrimination also, as one person not having a German passport or the residency permit, they are not allowed to work. They are not allowed to take part on some jobs they love, or some expeditions. And so this is also I had this also during the study, because I had Syrian passport at that time, and so sometimes as I was excluded from some expeditions because I didn't have their papers, and they didn't want to have this stress of applying for paper for me extra, because as a German student you don't need to apply for a visa, you just go. So this is also reminded me of this.
If may I add to what he already mentioned. Friend of mine, he is here also since 2015. Through marriage he get his passport. While he's waiting for his passport, he's well qualified as IT person, blah blah blah. So while he's waiting, he was writing Bewerbung, he applied for jobs in different companies using his nationality as a Syrian. All of them got rejected. When he gets the German passport, he changed the nationality in the CV from Syrian to German, and he sent again the same companies. Out of 10, 7 of them called him and asked him for interview, and he didn't go because it was based on racism. Just changing the nationality you have, it's really crazy how they receive it. So
so many things to do.
But when I'm, for example, I remember in my teenage years in the 90s, there also have been many racist attacks on on places where migrants and refugees were put, and all over Germany. And it was a time, I remember, I could not even watch news without crying or screaming. I couldn't handle this. It made me completely freak out. what happened, and I also tried to convince my parents to leave the country, and of course my parents didn't want to leave the country. So, but as one reaction to what the fuck was going on, there was a politicization of actually a whole generation, and of course not on everybody, but and also organizations like Kanak Attack, for example, founded themselves. Nowadays, many years later, more than 20 years later, it's Migrantpolitan and blah blah blah. But is organization seems to be and to go for structural change, but on a daily basis, what are strategies to not always freak out and go crazy, or to how do you manage?
It's a very beautiful question, to be honest, because it's so it's something that I believe all of us, we learn with the time, and we do so many mistakes until we find what is for each person the right thing to do. However, there are certain common things, like I personally always make sure I can call someone. I always have a feeling in my head, like I need to have someone in my head, and I need to have a phone, and I need to have something to know I can call someone. Yeah.
This calling, for example, one friend of mine, he's from Ivory Coast, and when he for first time was in Hamburg, and he was not so sure with all the ways where to go and blah 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 blah, so he was a little bit on alert. So, and then he was always calling me when he was on the train, on the S-Bahn. And for me, being the person who got called, it was a little bit annoying that he like several times during the day was calling me, and also like on the train, like the you don't hear very good and it's loud, and I was always like, yeah, but what?
Can you call me when you finish?
Yeah, what is up? And I'm a person. Sometimes I like when the person is calling me and says, I want to manage this or blah blah blah, and then finish. No. But he called me, and it was not flirty calls. He called me several times a day, always on the train. So after some days, I was like, hey, I don't say the name. Hey, what the fuck is going on? Why do you always call me when you're on the train? And he said, well, because he's new in the town, and he doesn't know so many people, so he wants to demonstrate to the others that he knows somebody in the town. So he like shows off in the public transport, but he said this also makes me safe, because when I'm talking to somebody, nobody treats me so bad, because they and then I also try to make them understand that I talk to a German person. So so like he didn't call me to tell me something, he called me to make a demonstration to the other people, to the fellow people, that he knows someone, that he's connected, that he's not lonely, and also that they like he also felt like more protected in this.
I would say to him, like, next time, put your phone on silent, pretend that you're talking to someone, and keep this person until you really need them. Like, you know, we have a very famous story of shepherd, Rai, shepherd, who was all the time calling and saying, "Oh, my ghanam, I don't know the word. My sheep are being eaten. My sheep are being eaten," and every time everybody would come. And then when his sheep were being eaten for real, and he called, no one came, because they were saying, "Oh, this person always calls for no reason." So I would say...
We also have this saying in Germany.
Yeah? So I would just say, please, save, like, fake it. It's good, because I relate. I really faked. I would a lot put my phone on silent. And I totally understand when you were saying, because that's why I laughed, because it reminded me and it clicked to something, but I was faking it. I was making myself look I'm talking to someone. I usually make myself look like I'm listening to music and I have my music off in my ears. I just put my headphones to look like I am listening to music, so I'm not very strong in the place, or I'm not fully aware, but I am fully aware. I'm not listening to music. So, for example, and this is what I say, everyone built something. It depends on how and what and who and warum.
But Zero, should we not maybe could there be a digital tool that could, I know that this exists, for example, for women, when that there's a certain app when you're on your way home in the night. I'm also a person like this, that I call just, or when it's really late, then I just pretend to talk to someone. But when you're drunk, you also feel like, oh, maybe this trick is also shitty, you know? But now, future is there. There's an app, and you can, so you don't need to do this kind of theater.
You can track yourself.
Yeah, and I think also with one click it gets an automatic call in case you activate it and blah blah blah. So there are but maybe something like this would also be adapted to what maybe other people needs are when it comes to public transport. For example, because this always seems to be a very vulnerable situation, right? You're a little bit exposed, closed, it's closed up. So
yeah, maybe
we should invent
like make something that it calls you and speaks with you with a boat, you know.
Or tell you
like,
a story and you...
and you hear and you can answer, maybe.
I honestly like the idea of being tracked, because as much as we don't want to be tracked by Google, Apple, and all these big companies, I want sometimes when I am going somewhere and I'm scared, especially I would do it in Beirut, for example, if I go to a date and I am scared from that or something like this, I send my location the second I arrive, wherever I go, I send my location to someone on WhatsApp. Even though if I say in my head, even if I'm killed, at least let them come take my body.
Yeah.
like this Tinder guy who came here when I made this joke with this and we also do some horror films.
Oh yes.
And you know, and it usually starts with like somebody coming here who is not connected and who doesn't know, and we have and he was, of course, he tried to be cool, but he also got a little bit like, fuck, true. I'm in this wooden house in the store. Danny!
Hey, Danny.
Hallöchen.
It's still on air?
Yeah. You can
Join in.
Join in.
But not here.
Hello. Talking about applications, I have, and I think it's connected as well to what we were talking about, the right wing and all this profiling and stuff. Today was launched Trump's social media platforms. I think it's called The Truth.
Because he was thrown out from all
from Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, and it took him 1 year to create his own social media. But like, as much as it's funny, because I also left when I heard the news 1 year ago. Today I looked the article. It's already launched. People start, the amount of people who are trying to register on these applications. So this is a platform for us to tell us where most of these people are going to be. You know, like it's a right wing conspiracy theory universe.
Yes.
So
We
please
need to send our digital gin.
Oh yes. Have you already talked about?
No,
Oh.
today we have serious issues.
Yeah, today we're talking about
Hanau.
Yes.
Hanau, and like, we came like many like topics came up around it, and now we were just about how to deal with insecurities, because we were talking actually about public transport and
Yes.
that it's not, doesn't feel good and safe, because also our Praktikant just today told me a story about racist attack on the bus here in Hamburg that happened to him. And then I had to think of the latest videos I saw on social media about what happened in Berlin, also on public transport. And then we were like talking about strategies, how to, because like, I don't want to sum up now everything, but now we were...
but that was a very good sum up, because we still have 3 minutes until we close our live. If we want to close it. So that was a very nice summing up. It was so good that we were, if we want to close it only. But that's why it was so nice how you were summing up the whole episode, honestly.
And then from, there's like kind of structural, still up to now, too much structural ignorance. And so to fight this, it's good to join maybe organizations or political groups, and Anas was also saying about
individual effort,
fighting back, and but then we came to the personal daily level, like how to manage, and then I came up with an example from a friend of mine from Ivory Coast who used to call me always when he was on the train, and first I didn't understand why, because I thought he wanted to tell me something, but then later on he said no, it was more about the demonstration to the other people that he knows someone, that he is connected to somebody, and also he always tried to make the people understand that he talks to a German person on the phone, and so that this kind of being connected, or to show that you have a connection. And then we were just thinking about, because Zero is here also with us, and he has all these digital skills, and I always think when many people I know have this personal individual problem, then it's also a structural deficit. So that, and for women, for example, there's this app when like for protection when you walk home in the night, that you, and then we just came on the last to this, would it need something like this for certain people in the city to...
Do you mean like something that is like with GPS, and then you send out like
tracking,
a warning and say like I'm being followed, and who is on the app, and then they get like a notification, and then they can also step out and maybe join in or something. Or
for example, when we went to New York, we saw these everywhere. There you found these not only mobile or digital, but also printed, because some people, homeless people, also don't have mobiles. For example, maps with places where you can get things for free, or where it's warm place for free. So like a map with from a certain perspective. And I was also thinking about this, like there are certain areas which are more stressful for some people than for others. And when you're new to a city, it's maybe it could be helpful tool because otherwise you always just get the info from your community and you don't share from a broader perspective.
I think that's a very good idea. Actually, we like if there is an app and there is safe places. It's like for women, for people with immigrants or queers, like this would be actually very good.
But can I say? I just wanted to say something before this idea is far away. I know how you and Nadine, because you are the digital diva, and Nadine is is a project diva. You know, I think you both are having a lot of things on your hands, but you both already put out a whole proposal. You just need to write it down and get the budget for it, because this is a fantastic project to do it with the Hamburg city, with the city of Hamburg, because city of Hamburg has it has already the map of the whole city, and it has already like the overview of everything. So you just need to take this information from them, and do a job of 1 year to find where if I am walking in Heinenheuerstraße and I'm feeling unsafe, then this app will tell me take the first right, second left, third right. You will find a place with so much light. You're no longer walking in the dark.
And also don't take this bus because
Exactly.
this bus is like there's an alternative which is less stressed. You know, I think very practical
Yes.
about bad experience from many people to avoid that everybody has to go through this.
Yeah, but there's
Again.
also like already so much data there, you know, like when you think of in terms, you know, we can always like rate some kind of business with 5 stars or in the 5-star system, and we can also collect kind of data about like safety, you know, like that. So people can actually from one perspective rate me as a queer person, I think this area is safe for me. And then you can have like a, you know.
Let's use this power not only to do more statistics for companies to sell, to use this information for us to be more involved and safe and sharing and connected and getting together.
Yeah.
What a beautiful thank you
cool.
for opening this topic. I want to be in this application, please. Okay.
Featured.
Before we go, we would like to say we're gonna stay maybe 30 seconds in the memory of the people we lost, and we send all the love to their families and to their beloved ones.
Thank you so much.